What's up, everybody? I'm Sara.
I'm Shauna.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Bobby. And this is Speaking of Missing Persons. Welcome back, everybody, and welcome to the new listeners to another episode of Speaking of Missing Persons. Before we get started on today's episode, a little bit of business. We have another show, Speaking of Murders. If you like this, you'll like that, so go check it out. If you want to see photos associated with today's case, go check out our socials. They are linked in the show notes. We have an Instagram, a Facebook, all that good stuff. We post our pictures there. If you want bonus episodes, go check out our Patreon. We're posting bonus episodes every other week. Don't miss out on those. The stories are even crazier, and we're practically unfiltered on there.
We let loose a little bit.
Yep.
Speaking of Patreon.
Yeah. And speaking of Patreon, we have a new patron, a new super fan, Andrea from the Ether.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're awesome. We love you. And today's story is actually a listener request from Taylor. Thank you for the suggestion, Taylor. We're super stoked about it.
Yeah, we love you too. Thank you.
So, Shauna, tell us about a missing person.
You got it. Today we're going to talk about Kemberly
Ramer.
Kemberly was described as a friendly and outgoing girl. She was a straight-A student. She was really well liked. She was a cheerleader, and she also played second base on the school's softball team. This brings us to August 15th, 1997, where Kemberly's day started pretty average for any teenage girl. She had played in a softball game, and then she hung out with friends and her boyfriend.
Okay.
She left her boyfriend's house between 11 and 11:45 p.m.
She's only 17, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Her neighbors saw her car pull into her driveway around midnight, which was her curfew.
That's why I asked if she was 17, because I was like, 11:45, she probably has a curfew, if that's what time she's leaving.
Kim, at the time, was living with her dad, Kenneth, because her parents were divorced.
Okay.
Which it said that she was still really happy, even though her parents were divorced.
Well, that's good.
I was going to say that's good that it didn't affect her.
When she got home that night, she was alone. So she went into her room and kicked off her shoes and got ready for bed because she was going to school the next morning to get her assigned parking spot.
Okay. Where was Dad? He work nights or something?
He was staying the night at his girlfriend's house.
Okay.
So she was going to be there all night by herself?
Yes.
I was 17. That's
Normal.
What year
Yeah,
is
it's
this?
not that big of a deal.
97.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
that big of a deal.
That makes perfect sense.
She was due to start her senior year in 4 days, so she was like really excited about this because she had also had plans to go to University of Southern Alabama to major in physical therapy. So
Which makes sense because she was an
For a
athlete.
for a baseball player, cheerleader, that would make sense.
when Kenneth got home the next morning, which he said was early in the morning, Kim wasn't there. And so he thought that she had just went shopping with her mother, Sue, who lived 10 miles away, just over the Florida border.
Oh, okay. So they're like right.
It's like
it's
Florida,
like Alabama. They live 10 miles apart, one in Alabama, one in Florida.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which he said that they did this often on weekends. They would just get together and go shopping.
Okay.
Which, again, pretty normal.
Right.
Especially, I mean, if your mom, even though they're divorced, still lives that close. Yeah, it would not be like out of the ordinary.
Kim hadn't returned home the next morning. So we're on Sunday now.
Okay.
So she did her baseball on Friday. Kenneth thinks she went shopping with her mom and was hanging out with her mom all day Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
We're on Sunday.
Okay.
Kim isn't home, and so Kenneth calls Sue to just be like, hey, when's Kim coming home? Sue's like, haven't seen her all weekend. So Kim's parents started calling all of her friends, and they quickly realized none of them had seen her since Friday night.
Uh-oh.
Kenneth quickly calls the police department to report her missing. So we're in Alabama. Alabama.
No tea.
No tea. So it had been 36 hours, so they had lost a ton of that first 48-hour critical time window.
Yeah.
When they had made it to her house to, when I will mention that when her dad got home on Saturday, her car was still there. So she thought that Kim's mom, Sue, had picked her up.
Okay.
Which would make sense.
Right.
Yeah.
But did he know she was supposed to go and pick up her?
It never did say.
I was just wondering because, I mean, I guess even if he did, he could think, oh, her mom drove her there real quick.
Right.
And then they went shopping.
Yeah.
and
Never mind.
all that stuff.
Yeah. She was spending the day with her mom, going to go shopping, go get her senior parking space at school.
Yeah.
Like,
all
yeah,
that jazz.
as a parent, I would probably have the same thoughts.
Yeah, and this is
Right.
before,
Cell phones were like
cell phones
huge.
were a huge thing.
The police, when they got there, they automatically knew that she had made it in the house because her car sat in the driveway and her keys were in the room in her house.
Okay.
They also found that all of her shoes were still in her room. She had left her glasses, contacts, purse, and money.
Okay, so
Mm.
all of her like necessary belongings
Yeah,
were
it's
still in the
never-
home.
Never a good sign.
No.
It's weird to me that her dad didn't notice, at least that her purse and money and car, like,
Well, if it was inside of her bedroom, he could have
Yeah.
never walked in there.
Yeah.
Like, how often did our parents enter our room?
well, that depends. Our dad, no.
Exactly.
Our mom, all the time. To say, can you clean this mess up?
Exactly.
Yeah, so
I'm sure he got home that morning, saw her car there,
he
thought
probably
she was still
just
sleeping.
opened the door
whatever.
real quickly and then shut it. He probably wasn't paying attention to anything that was actually in
True.
I'm not trying to go
Open
too
the door.
deep into it. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
there. Yeah, and just look.
Oh, she's not here. Must be with her mom.
Police believe a struggle took place due to the fact that her room was in slight disarray. Like her sheets looked a little fucked up. There was a picture that was on the wall that was off the wall.
Okay.
And one of her pillows was on the floor.
I mean, other than the picture being knocked off the wall, that sounds like a teenager's bedroom.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
That's why I would assume he would peek in there and go, oh, she's not here, and not really notice.
Yeah, that the fact that one of her pictures had fallen off the wall.
Right. Otherwise, an unmade bed, some, a pillow on the ground, stuff like that. That's
Yeah, you're really not going to take notice
no,
to.
that's
Yeah,
typical.
no, I understand that.
Yeah.
And what dad sits there and counts how many pairs of shoes their daughter has. Like,
Right.
Well, I'm just going to say current day. Now Samantha will keep track of the number of shoes her kids have and if their rooms look even a little disarrayed.
No, I mean, they're pretty disarrayed right now.
I was
but
saying if they weren't home for a significant
Right.
amount of time.
okay. They think that she was abducted sometime between midnight and 6 a.m. So I'm assuming that her dad walked in the door at 6 a.m.
Okay.
That's what that's telling me.
So he was home by 6.
Because this is such a small town, police knew right away that they needed the help of the FBI. Searches were done locally and had gotten them no closer to finding Kim. Police had ruled out her parents, any family member, her boyfriend, in being a suspect to her disappearance. And I will say that this boyfriend apparently was a secret boyfriend.
Okay.
And we'll touch base on that a little more at the end, but I want to add it now so that we're not like thinking that this was like something that she was supposed to be doing.
Gotcha.
Investigators wouldn't release like a ton of information on Kim's disappearance, and the community went fucking crazy because like this is a small town where they literally didn't lock their doors.
I'm sure they were all panicking.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Which, I mean, if they didn't lock their doors.
Exactly. It could have been anybody.
Yeah.
But that's how small towns were still in the 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, where we grew up in Kentucky, I don't think Mom started locking the door until that crazy woman knocked on our door in the middle of the night that time.
Yeah.
And she had a panic attack.
I don't understand the people in our neighborhood because they'll leave their garage doors open all night long for days, for weeks. And I'm like, are you guys lunatics?
I wouldn't want people stealing my shit.
No. We accidentally left ours open overnight like a week ago, and I had a panic attack about it.
She also left it open for like a couple hours, and a raccoon tried to steal all of her cat food.
Yeah. He was cute, though.
Okay. What little bit of information they did release was that there were several calls made from Kimberly's house to a Florida number around the same time she would have been taken.
Was it her mom's number?
No.
Do they know whose number it is or was?
They won't release it. If they do, they won't release it.
Gotcha.
I'm sure they know. And that person is not a actual suspect, but they don't want to release it because only the person who took her would know.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
They don't know. They don't believe that Kim was the one that called the number, though, because she would have had no reason to know that number.
Okay, so they're thinking that possibly whoever took her
made several phone calls before leaving the house.
Yeah.
Who would do that, though?
Whoever they called, though, didn't answer. So
Weird.
they wouldn't release who the number belonged to.
Okay. I mean, I guess that makes sense, you know, if there's no actual connect and call and that whoever owns that phone number isn't really, I mean, there's no reason for them to be involved in it or they have an alibi or something. There's no reason to release that.
Yeah.
That's just really weird.
Or like maybe this person broke in to try to steal something and was using the phone and then she startled them.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, that never crossed my mind. Because I'm like, why the fuck would somebody, if you're abducting someone, why would you just like make a bunch of phone calls from their house?
Well, no.
phone?
Or,
you call home. Hey, there's all this stuff in this house. What do we need?
Oh.
Yeah. Or you're calling some kind of accomplice or
Yeah. Hey, I need a ride
something,
now.
and she walked out on it and then ran back into her room to try to hide, and that's
When the very small altercation took place.
Or it could be a fence. Hey, man, I can sell you all kinds of stuff. What do you want? Let me list you things.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, something could have only happened to her
Circumstantially.
because she just happened to wake up.
Yeah, be home. At this point, they're starting to believe that she had been taken over state lines, though.
Because the calls were to Florida.
So they're thinking she might have been taken to Florida then?
Yeah.
So maybe they're not releasing this phone number because it's a possible suspect and they don't have enough information to tie them to it. Because like originally,
806 number.
I mean,
They released the area code.
No, I mean like
Yeah,
who it
and
belongs to.
They released the county that it was to.
And the area code,
And
which I
yeah.
think is 806, but I didn't write it down.
Yeah, it was 8 something.
I was just wondering if like it was a situation maybe where they were like, okay, this is what the girl looks like, blah 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 blah. Do you want her?
It was to Ponce de Leon County or something like that.
We'll get
in Florida.
Yeah, we'll get there.
You know, like a trafficking situation.
Right.
Police searched multiple places in both Alabama and Florida, but nothing was found. They used search planes, volunteers, thousands of missing posters across the county. Police talked to everyone and anyone she had a connection with, even if they said hi to her once in the 3rd grade. Like, they were talking to everyone. Truck drivers even helped join the search, and they would drive to Op, Florida, pick up missing persons posters and post them all over
You
the
mean
country.
Op, Alabama?
Yeah, yep. Truck drivers were also hanging her posters everywhere.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It brought no leads. December 1997, a press conference was held so that Sue and Kenneth could remind the community that she was still missing, offer reward money, and they made it clear to the public that any call that was like placed anonymously would stay that way. So they just wanted information. After a few months, the case was at a standstill until they got a call that Kim's body was dumped in the Walton County Pond, which was owned by a logging company and like fenced in with really high fences, and it was like a privately owned thing in Leona, Florida. So it was like the Walton County Pond, but it was in Leona, Florida.
Okay.
The area had not been locked up around the time of the disappearance, and it looked like it had become like a local party spot for youngsters.
I mean, it makes
Okay.
sense.
Youngsters.
It makes sense. Quarries, rivers, lakes, those are all places teenagers like to go.
Yeah.
This place was about 30 miles away from Kimberly's house in Leona, Florida. After 3 days, they started searching in this pond thing on Kimberly's 18th birthday. And they searched for 3 days. But the water was black, so it was difficult. They did everything they could. They used dogs, metal detectors, and lights to try to like get in there and see. It didn't help. So nothing was ever found of Kimberly there. There was no evidence that she had ever been there.
Gotcha.
Over the years, hundreds of searches were done. Sue searched different wooded areas around every single weekend.
Which, I mean, I would do the same thing as a mom.
Yeah.
Every spare moment I had
Yeah.
would be out there, like,
I'd be sleeping
Looking,
in.
I'd
I'd
be-
be sleeping in tents.
yeah, knocking on everybody's fucking door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me check your basement.
Yeah, except you'll go to jail for harassment.
Don't give a damn. I'll
Give a
spend
damn
my
you-
night and then start over again tomorrow. Let me check your fucking basement.
Can I look at the police department basement? They were no closer to finding Kimberly.
That's just so sad.
It is sad.
July 2006 took them to
Ponce de Leon.
there you go, to search a sinkhole that was over 55 feet deep and 300 feet across.
Oh, shit.
After
How would you find somebody in that anyway?
I don't know.
Maybe you would use like mining gear.
know. You use diving gear.
So it has water.
Yeah. It's the sinkhole. I'm wondering if it's just a name because it is literally just described as water.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's more like the thing we were talking about in the New Jersey Devil case.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
So like maybe an old quarry,
Yeah.
because that's what that was.
It's just basically a big hole that's filled with water at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm sure it's called the sinkhole because
It was
You c-
once a sinkhole.
well, you can have sinkholes that have water where the underneath of it's sinking, but like the rain clearly keeps it filled.
Yeah.
And so it's possible. But the tip was that she had fallen into the water.
Just falling in.
Yeah, that was the tip. Which, like we had said, they took this tip as credible because that's where the area code that the
Yeah,
calls.
that's the area that the phone calls were made to.
Right. They spent 35 hours straight diving and found nothing. I think there were 10 of them.
Yeah, and you would think if she just fell in, she would float.
Right, or somebody would have said something a lot sooner, not a year later.
This
Right.
was years later.
But I like the biggest thing to me is
This wasn't until 2006
Oh,
that
that's
they
like,
got this
that's
tip.
that's like forever. Like
that was almost 10 years
I
later.
mean,
isn't
if it is a true sinkhole and it does what I said, and the bottom of it,
yeah, but how
Yeah.
would she not have floated?
I don't know how she would have drowned if it was water. She seems like a very athletic, perfectly capable person of swimming.
And I don't know. Don't like that theory.
2015, police found themselves in Covington County, which it didn't say where this was either. So it's either in Alabama or Florida. It brought them to this house, basically. And it was like a house sitting on an interstate or like a highway of sorts.
Okay, like a state highway.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like,
Alabama.
okay, so we're in Covington County, Alabama. So this tip took them to this house that had been falling down. Like it hadn't been used in forever.
Okay.
And so they decided to dig up the yard, and they dug 30 feet down
All right.
into this yard.
Digging around creepy abandoned house.
Yeah, and found nothing.
What the heck?
30 feet.
Yeah, they went 30 feet down.
Okay. Somebody's not going to dig 30 feet.
I think they dug
By
30
hand.
feet down just to make sure. Like, you can't dispute that it's...
I was going to say, I mean, they're putting in all the efforts, though, with each tip. Like, they're really
Right, 'cause
searching through these areas.
They brought bulldozers and just basically wiped this yard clean just to go, no, nothing's here.
Hey, you know what? If one of my children went missing, I'd want the police department to be that thorough.
Me
Right.
too. That's
See,
what I'm saying.
I'm just going. I just feel like I spend a lot of time with serial killers inside my head instead of just normal people who kill and abduct. So like I'm just thinking of like all the serial killers who are just like, there's some dirt. See you later.
Yeah, just let
Just
me...
kick it with their shoe and like, cool. Your
Yeah,
body will
well-
be found in like 10 years.
Yeah, but if it was like
If
happened by circumstance, like wasn't an intentional abduction,
You're going to want to keep that evidence
yeah, you're going to
dead.
Well,
hide it.
Like, you're
hide it.
going to want
I
to
don't
keep
think
it buried.
Anyone accidentally abducts someone.
No,
No,
I'm
we're talking
We're
about
saying if she walked out, if we were talking about the
I'ma punch you.
situation.
What I'm saying is, like, you guys were explaining earlier, like, somebody was in the house for a different reason,
yeah.
and she happened upon them, and they took her. They weren't in the house intending to abduct her.
Because obviously she
gotcha.
wasn't murdered in the house unless she was strangled. 'Cause
No,
there's
even
blood.
then, your body releases fluid. Strangulation, your body's going to shit itself.
Not always.
You might pee.
You don't always.
You probably would.
But you don't always.
Anywho, I'm just saying there would have been.
As
There
somebody.
would possibly be.
I mean, it's a
fluid.
possibility, but it doesn't always happen.
Right.
Why is he laughing over there?
Because it sounded so much like a yeah, huh, nuh-uh, yeah, huh, nuh-uh.
As somebody who works in a field where you put things to sleep, they don't always release their bowels.
Say.
I'm just saying.
We're all just saying.
Just happy to be here.
By 2019, investigators put an updated flyer out for Kim, and the investigation is still very active as of 2022. Grand jury had basically put Alabama police into looking closer at her case again, due to the fact that they found new evidence or brought new evidence to the grand jury.
Oh,
or,
so they might have new information.
right.
Okay.
As of now, Alabama, Florida, and the FBI are working together to get through whatever it is that they have to try to convict somebody.
Okay.
But no one's been named yet?
We're going to talk suspects and theories.
Can we actually call them suspects, or do we have to just say it's a theory?
theory, person of interest, possibly.
And I think
would-
it's just theories because no person of interest has been named by the actual police departments or FBI.
Okay, so let's talk theories.
They are keeping that information like sealed tight.
Yeah.
So this is just like theories, I think, amongst the people that's been following her case in the community and stuff like that. People that have gotten extra information.
Right. We're going to start with someone named Jeremy Garth Anderson. He was Kimberly's sister's boyfriend. He had been out on bond that night. He's the son of a Walton County Sheriff's Department deputy. Has a criminal record, borrowed or stole a truck that night, had no alibi, refuses a polygraph, and is from the area where the calls were placed.
Oh. That's
Yeah,
very interesting.
That makes him pretty suspicious. But also, don't really blame him for not taking a polygraph.
No, but where's your alibi?
And I'm sure that if his father's a deputy, he's also telling him not to take a polygraph.
Which
Probably.
it's fine. Where's your fucking alibi?
Right. Like if he had nothing to say about where he was
he
that
didn't
night.
even try to be like, I was asleep in my bed.
All I could find was that there was no alibi placing him anywhere.
Well, that could just mean nobody can verify his story.
Which gives you no alibi.
Well,
Well, correct, but that doesn't
thing
mean he
is-
didn't try to tell a story.
the thing is, though, with that, in the snippet of information that I read on the case, said that the next morning, so that Sunday,
Right.
he was frantically at a friend's home asking for help on how to dispose of the truck that he had stolen or however he acquired it,
Yeah, wasn't it abandoned
he ended up-
somewhere?
dumping it in a church parking lot.
Yeah.
And that's like all the information they give on it. They don't say there was nothing else about that truck, like if it was searched, what he had it for, why he was trying to get rid of it.
Yeah, like why he borrowed or stole or whatever the fuck he did with it.
I mean, if his dad is a police officer, then that could be like a big reason they're keeping everything super quiet.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
Definitely. My whole thing is with that is like why would he? You know, like what would
If
he have
he
had
was
against
doing
her?
what I said, and
I mean, he had a criminal record. He could have been trying to
He
steal
could've-
stuff.
he could have been like, "Oh, her dad's car's not here.
Let me go in.
Let me go in and take something
Yeah.
to get to where I need to go." If he was from this certain spot in Florida that he was calling, and he would have been calling to be like, "Hey, I
Hey.
stole this truck. I'm gonna steal some money, and I'll be there at this time."
Yeah, come pick me up.
True.
And then she walked in the room and was like, "What the hell are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh shit, you saw my face."
Did I miss it? Was there anything missing from the house?
It never said.
No.
It doesn't
None
say.
of your sources ever said?
No.
None of them.
It doesn't
Not
say.
one fucking source.
Which could be another thing that police are keeping quiet because, like, only the person would know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
There
because
was
I
a
also
very
read
few-
like a shit ton of these articles about it, and it seems as though like the
They are
the
keeping
police are like
everything.
keeping all information on lock. Like they are not releasing any info, and neither have her parents.
Right.
They've been which
because-
her father is passed. Also, I read that he passed like several years after her abduction.
Well, that's sad.
Yeah.
Let's move on to secret boyfriend. He was in his 20s. He was divorced with small children. Last person to see her, but he had an alibi. Again, I don't know what that alibi was, but that's why
Well,
he
I
was
mean,
cleared.
if they
But
were hanging out with friends, he could have still been hanging out with friends when she had to go home because of her curfew.
Right.
I'm just saying,
Or he could have had his kids,
he.
or
I included him because her parents didn't know that they were together.
well, I'm sure they didn't. If he was older and already
Yeah, she
had
was
been
17 and he was
divorced,
in his 20s.
he's already been divorced and has children. Seems like something a 17-year-old would keep from their parents.
Yeah, probably.
That's why nowadays they have trackers on their cars and their phones. I'm just saying.
We're going to talk about, I guess, a friend named Deidre. Supposedly had been with her on Saturday and had talked her into going to a party on Friday night, like after she had left her boyfriend's house. But that doesn't make any sense because her car and her keys and all of her shoes are at her house.
Right.
So she's claiming
that
she
had
was with
been
her on Saturday.
like
that
Like-
she saw.
like pretty much she's saying, oh yeah, she went home, blah blah blah, but I met up with her in the middle of the night after she went home and we went to a party.
Yeah, but who leaves without their shoes?
Or their keys, or their money, or their contacts, or their glasses.
Yeah, who leaves blind and no shoes? Like, it's...
Yeah, that one doesn't make any sense
That's
at
why
all.
I'm sticking with my theory. I'm going with it. I'm just gonna ride that till the end.
They think this is what happened. Kim got home, settled in around 11:30 p.m. So she got in bed before being taken from her home by someone that she had known personally. They think that whoever it was, because there was no sign of forced entry, had a key or knew her personally, so she let them in. She fought back just a little bit. You know, I'm sure she fought back harder than just a little bit, but you understand what I'm saying. She was
Right.
overpowered pretty quickly, taken, and possibly killed. And they believe that her body is somewhere in Alabama or Florida. Kimberly is listed as endangered missing. She was born May 18th, 1980. She is 5'4" and 130 pounds at time of missing. Has brown hair, brown eyes. Her ears are pierced. She wears a size 6.5 shoe. She was last seen wearing a white shirt with New Orleans on it in bright colors. Gray cutoff sweats, rope necklace, gold rope necklace, gold ankle bracelet, and maybe a gold bracelet. If you have any information, please call Op Police Department at 334-493-4511 or just call the FBI at 202-324-3000. If you call, you can remain completely anonymous.
All right, man.
That's an interesting one.
It is, and it's a shame there isn't more information released by the police.
Yeah, they are keeping it locked up tight.
Yeah, it's...
I mean, I don't blame them.
Wait, I mean, it also, though, that makes me a little bit more suspicious of it, like, being somebody within the
Where was he a police at in
the
Florida?
community.
in one of the places that they had actually searched.
That's what I'm saying. Was he a police officer in Florida?
Walton County. So Walton County, that's in Florida.
Yeah, so I would say the Alabama police give no shit that he's
Oh,
the son
probably
of a,
fucking not.
of a cop.
Right.
Because they're the ones handling the case, which is a good thing. That this dude wasn't a cop where she went missing.
Well, he wasn't a cop. His father was
That's
a
what
cop.
I'm saying.
Oh.
Like,
I will
I
say,
gotcha. I
will
understand now.
say that one of the main Florida police officers working on this case is retired with like great honors in solving missing persons cases.
yeah, but he's retired.
Yeah, but they basically hired him as a PI.
Consultant.
Oh, okay.
They hired him as like a private investigator, even though he's retired. That's kind of
He's still looking
doing.
into her
Yeah.
case.
Specifically.
Okay. Well, hopefully he finds something, some new information.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. All right. Well, if you enjoyed today's episode, let us know. Leave us 5 stars. Leave a review. Share it with your friend, your family. Your one friend.
Share it with your only friend.
Yep. And all of the other friends. Your family, coworkers, whoever. And don't forget to go check out the Patreon. Get those bonus episodes. Get your shout out on the show. And, yeah, any final thoughts?
Thank you, Taylor, for the case suggestion.
Yep. And thank you again, Andrea, for subscribing to the Patreon. You're awesome. You're the bee's knees.
Do bees have knees?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sweet. I learned that flamingos do not what they're like the part where it looks like they're bending their knee backwards. That's actually their ankle, which is
Okay, now you just fucked me up. Let's say goodbye.
okay.
All right. See y'all next week.
Bye.